Welcome to our 6th lesson in preparation to the Sacrament of Penance and Reconciliation. This is your friend Mauricio Pérez. The title of our lesson today is We Are Peacemakers. The Sermon of the Mount is also called the Constitution of the Church, for it contains the most important teachings of Jesus. Among them we find the Beatitudes, which describe Christian life. One of these Beatitudes say, "Blessed be the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." To be peacemakers ourselves, we need to start by understanding what peace means to Jesus. When Jesus spoke about peace, he used the Hebrew word Shalom, a word that can be translated as peace, but that has a rich and deep meaning we need to value and understand. Shalom was so important to the Jews that they greeted each other wishing them peace. Shalom Aleichem, the peace be with you. In fact, so important this is that for thousands of years Jews have continued to greet each other with this word. A tradition we continue as Catholics when we greet each other with the sign of peace in Mass before communion. This is also the liturgical greeting of the bishops. At the beginning of Mass they greet the people with these words, "The peace be with you." This Hebrew word shalom means of course peace in the sense of absence of conflict, but as we said before, it has a very rich and deep meaning. Shalom also means prosperity, health, and abundance of grace. When someone greets someone else with the words, "The peace be with you," he is wishing all these blessings to the other one. The word shalom comes from the Hebrew expression lehelem, which means to pay back, to restore the balance, to reconcile. This meaning of the word shalom, to restore the balance, is particularly relevant to us as we prepare ourselves for the sacrament of reconciliation. It is a fact that when we sin, we lose our inner peace, our peace with God and our peace with the ones we have offended. In a word, we lose our balance. Having peace, getting this shalom, implies then to restore this inner peace we have lost. Along this class we have emphasized how through the sacrament of reconciliation, Jesus forgives our sins, restores the inner peace we have lost, and sends us off to start all over again. This restoration of our inner peace is the shalom. Often in our life, we enjoy of human relationships full of peace. However, our mistakes or the mistakes of others blur this peace, and the most of the times we end up confronting each other, bitterly arguing, even fighting, hurting one another, and definitely losing peace. Reconciliation is then needed in order to restore the peace we have lost. But first, reconciliation requires forgiveness as a condition. This poses a crucial question. What is forgiveness? To forgive means to cancel a moral debt, as easy as that. Just as when someone owes you some money and will never be able to pay you back, and you choose to cancel that debt for good. "You owe me nothing," we say. Likewise, when someone has offended us, we forgive our aggressor when we decide to cancel his moral debt. "You owe me nothing." So, forgiveness is the condition to have reconciliation, but many just cannot forgive, and this is a very common situation. Yet, we all fail, we all make mistakes, we all sin, so we all need the forgiveness of God. The problem is that when we ask God for His forgiveness, we imply that we also forgive those who have offended us. Then, a condition to receive God's forgiveness is that we forgive others first. The inability to forgive, resentfulness, is terrible, because it is a double-sized problem. On one hand, one suffers because of the offense he has received, but also because he cannot forgive. Actually, the most of the times, my aggressor has even forgotten about his fault. So if I don't forget, the only one who still has a problem is me. Or maybe even my aggressor has apologized and even gone to confession and been absolved. So if I refuse to forgive, definitely the only one with a problem to deal with is me. We cannot deny that resentfulness is the heaviest burden one can experience in his life. Even worse than facing a terminal illness is to live with no inner peace due to our inability to forgive. So we must be aware of what prevents us from forgiving others so that we can overcome these hurdles. First of all, imagination plays a big part in resentfulness. On one hand, imagination leads us to see faults and bad intentions where in reality there are none. Maybe that person didn't greet us this morning because he was in a rush and didn't see us, but not because he is plotting something evil against us as we immediately thought. On the other hand, imagination leads us to exaggerate the real dimension of a fault. And this is also very common, so we need to be really aware of it. It is our imagination that leads us to exaggerate the real dimension of a fault, and in consequence, it becomes even harder for us to forgive. So we have to keep things on their right dimension. The other hurdle that prevents us from forgiving is arrogance. Arrogance makes me see you so little compared to me. You're so little and I'm so great that I cannot forgive you. You're so stupid and I'm so perfect that you do not deserve my mercy. You're so reckless and I'm so careful that you do not deserve my pardon. You're so messy and I'm so clean that you do not deserve my pity. And the list could go on. In one word, we could say that arrogance leads me to think that you're so bad and I'm so holy that I cannot and will not forgive you. Imagination, arrogance, the two hurdles to forgiveness. We must swipe them away from our life. Then we will be able to cancel our moral debts. We will be able to forgive and to reconcile with each other. Then and only then, we will restore the inner peace we lost. We will restore the balance in our relationships with others. We will enjoy the Shalom, the true peace that comes from God. For blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Thank you for your attention. I have enjoyed so much walking together with you on this journey in preparation to the Sacrament of Penance and Reconciliation. Our next journey will take us to the Sacrament of Holy Communion. See you next time.